How the votes happened in round one. So, in round one, Raila Odinga gathered 20, and Mahmoud Yusuf from Djibouti got 18. Richard Randiamanriato from Madagascar got 10, and there was one abstention. That was round one. Round two, Raila Amolo increased by 2 votes, and he had 22. Mahmoud Yusuf had 19, an increment by 1, and Richard Randiamanriato lost 3 votes. So he ended up with 7 from the previous one. There was only 1 abstention. In round 3, Mahmoud Yusuf gathered pace and got 23. That's a candidate from Djibouti. Raila Odinga got 20, and Richard Randiamanriato got 5, and there was 1 person who abstained. After that round, the third contestant dropped off. Therefore, it was now a 2-horse race at that particular point. And round 4, Mahmoud Yusuf gathered 25 votes, and Raila Odinga got 21 votes. There were 2 abstentions and 1 spoilt vote. They didn't end there. In round 5, Mahmoud Yusuf had 26 votes. Raila Odinga had 22, and there was 1 abstention. In round 6 now, Raila dropped off. And finally, in round 7, Mahmoud Yusuf gathered the 33 votes, which was the magic number, and that made him the African Union Commission chairperson.
Now, I want to talk about the factors that made Raila Odinga to fail in the AUC chairmanship elections. I was one of individuals who believed that Baba would have other times to win the AUC chairmanship position. And even in my latest video to the voting time, I still believed that he had very slim chances of winning that election. But now in this video, I want to show you the reasons and the factors that has led him in the long-awaited elections. So point number 1, age. So if you check, Baba's age right now is at 80, and he was running against those who are at their 50s, so younger than him. And also, with the activities of the chairperson, his age would have not allowed him to do this work so effectively. So this is also one of the reasons why most countries never voted for him. The second point is language. Raila Odinga is only fluent in 3 languages, that is English, Kiswahili, and German. And in the AUC, the language that is used the most is the French, and that also has contributed a lot in his failure. And still on language, it can also tell you that by using French in the AU proceedings can also tell you that in Africa, French language dominates other languages. And so that is to say, many African countries use French rather than Kiswahili and English. The third point is education and experience. If we talk of education, Ali Yusuf from Djibouti has a PhD, while Raila doesn't. One of the qualifications that a candidate had to have was the PhD in international relationship. Now let's talk about the experience. If you compare Baba and Ali Yusuf from Djibouti, Ali Yusuf has a diverse knowledge on international relationship, while on the other side, Raila doesn't. Another requirement which was required is that an individual or a candidate must be knowledgeable with foreign affairs policies. And now again on this, if you just oppose Raila Odinga with the Djibouti candidate, you will find that the Djibouti candidate was once an employee to the international foreign affairs. And if you also leave the international part, he was also former Minister for Foreign Affairs in Djibouti. So that also give him an upper hand against the rest. The fourth point is leadership position. Amongst the qualifications needed for a candidate was that a candidate has to be a former president or a deputy president of his country. And if you go in that direction with Raila's situation, you will find that the highest position Raila has ever occupied is the prime minister, which was not being considered the most, because here in Kenya we use presidency and the deputy presidency. Now let's just oppose this with the candidate from Djibouti. Ali Yusuf was once the vice president of Djibouti, also giving him another upper hand against Raila. So in that brief comparison, it is clear that Ali Yusuf from Djibouti merited the job because he had all the qualifications needed for that job. And now lastly, it's about the SADC. The member countries forming SADC had already agreed to vote as a bloc. How did this affect Raila's chances of winning? Okay. SADC as economic bloc is made up of 16 countries. So these 16 countries had already reached in a decision that they will rally their support behind Richard from Madagascar. And earlier on, Raila had already believed that he will get most of the countries from the southern part of Africa voting for him. But this is something that never came to pass. That is also one of the factors that has made the Right Honorable Raila Odinga not to clinch the AUC chairmanship position. And before I also forget, the war right now in Congo is also a factor that has contributed a lot to Raila's failure. And why has that also affected him? Okay, now this is the answer. We all know very well that our president, William Ruto, is the chairperson for East Africa Community. And he was also the chairperson who was leading the peacemaking in the Democratic Republic of Congo. But from his decision to bring in the France in solving the problem in DRC is also something that many African countries never wanted to hear about. We were seeing that move as going back to the times of neocolonialism in the past years. And they were also seeing it as Africa being too much controlled by the Western countries. And now from this decision, many countries, African countries for that matter, never wanted to associate with Kenya. And to retaliate, they have participated in retaliation to vote against Raila Odinga of Kenya. So those were the points I had. So if you find this video so helpful to you, please kindly take a second of your time and subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching, and let's meet soon in our next video.